I am from Ireland. I'm 35 and I just got engaged. So. Thank you. Okay, he's also my childhood crush that we reconnected with. I know. Okay, I'm going to tell you all about it. So firstly, we first kissed when we were 12, but nothing came from it because we were drunk. Some stereotypes are real. Then we kissed when we were 15 and nothing came from it. And this might be just for the women in the room, but the reason why nothing came from it was because after we kissed, his friend, who I guess had a crush on me, got really violent with him and like pulled his necklace off and pushed him up against the wall. So obviously I got with that psycho for years. It's like, it's so romantic. And then years later, I moved to America. And then I was 5 years into America and he randomly DMs me, okay? So I put up a bikini picture, of course, and I'd really longer hair at the time. And he messaged me out of the blue and he goes, "You look like a sexy version of The Ring." The creature from the horror movie. Now, he says he was flirting. But I think what actually happened is, for Irish people, anytime we leave Ireland, okay, we'll come to your country and we learn all these great things. But when we go back to Ireland, Irish people will always question us about our Irishness. "Oh, you're so American." But I love the things I've learned in America, like how to be confident, not give a fuck what people think about me, you know, like my body, you know, to put up a bikini picture. But the problem about being Irish is Ireland will always make sure you're still Irish, because Ireland sent someone from my childhood to humble me on a Tuesday. Ireland was like, "Get back in your box, bitch." So I just sent back celebration emojis because I didn't know how to reply to that. Then 5 years later, so a year and a half ago, I'm in Rotterdam, which is 2 hours away from Ireland. I'm performing at a show and you can't usually see past the second row. So I asked if there was any Irish people and a group of lads shouted up at the back. And I was like, "Where are you from?" And they were like, "Kildare." And I was like, "I'm from Kildare." And I was like, "Where?" And they said, "Leeslip." I was like, "I'm from Leeslip." And they were like, "We know you." And I was like, "Who is it?" And one of the lads shouted up his name into the audience. I was like, "Great, is there anybody else here who I used to kiss in my teens?" And so that night, he was like super forward with me about his feelings for me. And he told me he had feelings for me, which is crazy because Irish men don't have feelings. And I feel like I need to give a PSA to anyone who's not an Irish woman here. Like, I know that yous really want to date our men because you think they're so romantic because Hosier is doing awful propaganda for them right now. I don't know if you've listened to a Hosier song, but one of the lyrics is that he'd crawl out of the grave for his missus. I promise you his girlfriend listened to that and was like, "What fucking bitch are you talking about in those songs? You never said that to me." What he said was, he said to my fiancé that he felt like I was a missed opportunity. Oh, you thought that was romantic? Really? I was like, let's tell people you felt like I was the one that got away because you're making me sound like Bitcoin. I don't know what that joke means, but I know it makes sense, you know? And then when we slept together for the first time, it was a little weird because I had been in New York City for 10 years, so I was American in lots of ways, and he'd been in Ireland the whole time. So I feel like for people who come from a country that's a bit shameful about sex, if you specifically come to New York, there's going to be some New York liberal sex positive woman who's waiting for you to get off the plane and be like, "Let's make you a whore." And it's not that we're not whores in Ireland, it's just that it's a different type of whore here. Do you know what I mean? Because the women are all about their pleasure. They enjoy sex. I didn't learn that until New York City, you know? Lights off, eye contact, it's a bit too much, but I was American when I slept with him. So when we slept together for the first time, he laughed in my face. And like, the only goals for comedy is laughter, okay? But I promise you on my goal list has never been laugh while inside me. That's my time off. So I go, "What the fuck are you laughing at?" And he goes, "Sorry, you're just so American." I was like, "How am I American?" He goes, "You're making loud noises." I was like, "I love that pleasure is an American concept." Also, I still had my underwear on and he still had his socks on. I was like, "This is the most Irish sex I've had in a decade." Irish men will not take off their socks. It's so weird. There needs to be like a scientific paper done to the like correlation between the hardness of the penis and wearing their socks. But it's weird because they never want to wear condoms. Just the willy sock, you know. That was a line I've never said before. So I said this in Massachusetts, in Springfield, and this American woman shouted up to try to relate to me, and she goes, "I get it. My fiancé will always have sex with his cowboy boots on." I was like, "Bitch, that is not the same thing." Cowboy boots? That's Christian porn. Okay, Irish men wearing white socks up to here and their hairy legs, they look like cats. Irish men as well, they need to be seen as masculine, you know, so they're like, I watched that football, I drank that pints, and then you have sex with them and they're like, but my feet are cold. I don't like the look of my toes. Me and my fiancé, we do long distance, and so when he came to New York the other times, I suggested being kinky, and I said, let's have sex in the kitchen. I realised that won't be kinky to you guys, it is to us because of the famine. Ancestors rolled in their grave that day. But because we had sex in the kitchen, I forgot I have a cat camera. And I know. So for anyone who doesn't have pets, the pet cameras record with motion, so we by accidentally made porn. Which is an insane thing to watch as two lapsed Catholics, okay? We put it on, his socks made a cameo. But to all the sex-positive women in the room who told me to enjoy sex and make noises, when I heard the noises coming out of me and that thing, I nearly called Father Thomas at home for an exorcism. It is my favourite film, though. It's my favourite film, not because of the sex, and I really wish I could show you, but 20 seconds into the film, my cat came and stood in front of it for the rest of it like this. And he's a little tuxedo cat, so he looked like a little bouncer, like, have you paid to be here? I love my cat. His name is Madra, which is the Irish for dog. Fun. But he's also a reincarnated 1920s Irish gangster. He meows like this, meow. And he killed a mouse by drowning it in his water bowl. What sort of fucking Peaky Blinders shit is that? I asked permission for all the jokes off my fiancé, whatever I do about him, but he was worried about this by accidental porn one, because he was afraid that someone would hack the iCloud that I, of course, pay for my cat videos. And he was like, if they put that footage online, Katie, it's sex and cats, it will break the internet. And he goes, it will go viral and I'd be fired. And I was like, I completely understand, but if that goes viral, I'll be famous. We were back in Ireland last Christmas and we had an accident in the bed. That makes it sound like we shot the bed. We didn't shit the bed. But we needed to get the plan B, as you guys call it. We call it the morning after pill. So we went down to the pharmacy the next morning, and I've only ever done that once in New York, and it's, so different. It's like buying bread. They're like, beep, beep, they don't give a fuck. To the cash register, I was like, don't you want to judge me? She was like, I am now, you weirdo. But we go down, and because it's a Christmas time, everybody and their granny is fucking shopping, okay? So I turned into a Catholic again. I was like, we're keeping this child, I can't be embarrassed. So my fiancé was like, I'll go up and ask for it. So I go behind him and he goes in and he asked the girl behind the counter, but she's like 17. So he's like, oh, can I have the emergency contraception pill? And she goes, the what? And he was like, the emergency contraception pill. She goes, why the fuck are you asking? No, I'm not qualified. Why would you? I'm just doing Christmas hours. I can't believe you came up and basically pushed a red button and the whole place shut down. But in Ireland, it's the pharmacist who has to legally give it to you, okay? So he wanders down and he's like, so you need the morning after pill. I feel like I fucking committed a crime, okay? Well, he points to this, I can only describe as a plywood box in the middle of the pharmacy, okay? So it's on 4 pieces of wood. It's up to about here, okay? And he points to that, and he has to interview me for the morning after pill, okay? I know, I hadn't brought my resume. But he points to that, and he points to that, and he goes, I'm going to interview you in there for your privacy. For my privacy. Everybody knows that's the fucking pill box. I'm not going in being like, what shampoo should I use today? So we go in. First thing he asks is, when did the incident happen that you need to take this? And I said, 6 hours ago. And he goes, oh, you know you have 3 days to take this thing. I was like, I don't think you should be fucking telling people that. But then he asked so many questions. When he got to the 30th question, I was like, can you get me the pill? I'm getting fucking pregnant. So he wanders off to get it, and it's such a strange experience because it's like a kind of dressing room in the middle of the pharmacy. I can hear people. I could hear a woman buying foot cream, okay? She can see my shoes. It's a very strange experience. I'm just sitting there thinking, like, what the fuck is life? But then my fiancé thought it'd be funny because the box only comes up to about here. So he just looked over and he just goes, shame, shame, shame. And I'll leave you on this one that has really nothing to do with my set, but it's my favourite joke to do, so I'm just going to tell you it because I found out recently that oysters are an aphrodisiac, and I was like, how? They look like snots. That's so weird. But then my friend was like, we should go try them and see if they are aphrodisiacs. And I did for the first time. And I'm here to tell everybody they are 100% an aphrodisiac because they're so fucking gross that afterwards I wouldn't mind putting a penis in my mouth. You guys are a lot of fun. Thank you so much. Bye.